Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, let's see here. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is the 4th January, and we are back. We are back. I know I had to be back on, what's the date? 11th January, but man, I couldn't take it any long. I mean, waiting for so long and then just figuring out that I have another week to wait. No, it wasn't happening another week. Had to come back early. So, we are back over here. Just gonna wait for everyone to show up here. We have about the whole gang is in there in the YouTube stream. Beautiful, beautiful. Just gotta make sure everything's up and running. All right. All right, we got a lot of things coming in here. Let's take a look here. So first of all, I'm just going to mute everybody here because, you know, some people don't want to mute themselves. So we're going to force mute everyone here. Awesome. Perfect. So let's take a look what's going on here now. We're moving into the new year. This is going to be lower volume. So we're going to, like, you know, maybe move step by step here, not kind of like, you know, get ahead of ourselves. So we're going to take a look at pound yen first of all. And the first thing that I want to see on pound yen is really want to see where the levels are right now, because these are the levels which we drew last night when we sent the analysis on the high time frames. So probably gonna remove all this. All right. So probably what we're going to do is we're going to remove all this over here and we're going to do some new analysis here. So looking on the 4-hour time frame, it does seem like we created a resistance here, which was there since you know, before the holidays. And then we have this support form now on the 4-hour time frame. So let's break that down on the 1-hour time frame and see what's going on. So looking on the 1 hour, obviously we have a support formed over here, but at the same time we had this support formed here too. So I guess the London session really had a lot of volume to push price down towards the support, and we kind of like bounced above from it. The only problem is now that we're coming down, it's coming down to the same area where it formed support. So selling at this point wouldn't be a good idea because, I mean, we're not sure whether price is going to cross this area to come down or not. So this is going to be an area which we're going to keep in mind of a potential rejection area right over here. Okay, what's going on here? Let's take a look at this chart over here. The first chart of the year. First chart of the year, sells on GJ. Yeah, this is something I want to avoid at this point. This sell right over here. Because, you know, there was a rejection here before, and then price moved down, moved back up. So I'm not going to say that we will completely ignore this area, but we're going to keep this in the back of our mind. So I would want a candle to maybe cross below this area and then move down. So if you measure this range, it's like a 17-18 pip range. Pretty good solid range, to be honest. You know, this 15-minute candle is about to close, so I guess if the next one can break down, it's going to continue moving down. Can you please make the sound louder? I think the volume is fine, right, guys? Maybe you need to turn up your speakers or something. Ooh, gold is back at 1934. Wow. Wow, crazy move here on gold. Wasn't really expecting this on gold at all. So gold opened down over here. Wow. Crazy. All right, let's take a look at some charts over here. All right. This is entered on the break of the 30-minute low. Yeah, same thing we kind of like talked about here. Like this area could be some sort of a problematic area. So may want the next 15-minute candle to break below here and then continue down. I think that's going to be a pretty good idea. Are you planning on trading this week, or are you waiting on until the brokerage is open? Yeah, I'm not trading this week at all. Even though if I had funds in any brokerage, I still wouldn't trade this week because, you know, I already made up my mind not to trade this week. So probably going to start trading from the 11th next week. Okay, let's do this here. Let's take a look at your JPY. Your JPY is also coming up to this resistance area. See, now at this point, since there's like 5 minutes left for this candle to close, I do believe that we should be continuing down here. You know, at first was just cautious about this area here, but as this price is coming to a close in 5 minutes, see this 5-minute candle, it's coming down to a close here. So yeah, I do believe, I mean, if I was to take this trade, I would possibly wait for this 15-minute candle to close, and then I'd want the next 15-minute candle to continue down. All right, let's take a look at your JPY over here. Let's do some fresh analysis on your JPY, and let's see what's going on. Let's take a look at the daily. Daily is still in this range here. This is a 21-day range, actually 24, 25-day range, almost a month. You know, looking on the 4-hour time frame, we're basically creating a support right over here at 126, 122. And now slowly we're coming up to a resistance area now. Yeah, I guess this is the point where you'll have to kind of like wait here, right? Because we created a support previously, we created a resistance on the 3rd January, and now we're coming up to the same area here again. And let's measure this range here from 126,460 till 126,640. It's like a 17, 18 pip range. So probably would want to wait for price to kind of like break above this area to continue bullish. Can you look at my paper trade? All right, let's take a look at this paper trade. This is your JPY 30-minute. Candle broke up, okay. Breakout candle, half the candle got broken, you took an entry, stop loss after 30-minute candle closed bearish. From this, I'm not sure which 30-minute candle closed bearish, but I would assume this first one, when it closed bearish, you closed your entire position. But if not, then you should have done that over here. Hey Raja, what do you use to add text to your trades? Like journaling. Oh, it's a software called Snagit. You know, you go to Google, the software called Snagit. S-N-A-G-I-T. Snagit. Yeah, this is software here. I use this software to do my labeling and stuff. 4th January, amazing man, 2021. We're moving in 2021 now. I wonder what new surprises are we going to see here. So, okay, let's talk about gold over here. I wonder where my old analysis is on gold, which you sent last night. But man, this is really, really moving bullish. We're moving up here, looking on the 4-hour time frame now, looking to the left-hand side. We're approaching. See now, even though we have this clean candle here to the left-hand side, but at the same time, there's some sort of a rejection here, which was on the 5th November, and price may kind of like reject this area to kind of like, you know, like form ranges here. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on gold. I mean, it's really, really bullish at this point. Let's take a look at this chart over here. This is a GJ 1-hour chart. You got a support. What's this? So you got a support, no trade zone, looking for candle close below support to mark for sells down over here. I like that too. I would say, you know, since this candle is coming down to a close, it's going to be a better idea to maybe have a selling position after we kind of break this low and continue down. It's like a 14-15 pip range. Could be a pretty good move. But you're right, like after we break the support down to 144.60, let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame. Let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, that's going to be much better if you break below, 140, 450. Then you have this clean range going all the way down towards these wicks. And with volume, I guess price can come down towards 140, 120, 140, 110. But currently, this candle is about to close, and this is perfect because if we close below this area, next candle is going to continue moving bearish. All right, let's take a look at this chart here. Break below 140, 390, 147, 80, that area to come down. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Someone started speaking to me. Did you say you were trading this week or not? No, next week. All right, let's take a look at this chart here. This is GJ, 30-minute chart. Same idea we discussed here before. It's trying to move down. I would have waited for this candle to close, which is closing just the way it is. It's perfect. So now the next candle has to break this low to continue down. If it doesn't break the low, then I think the probability of it moving down is going to be really slim at that point. There we go. New candle has formed. I have my lot size on a Monday and Friday. Is that a good idea, or do I just don't trade on Friday and Monday? Oh, you have your lot size. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. That means you're being more risk averse at that point. So that's good. All right, let's take a look at this chart over here. This is a GBP CAD 30-minute chart. Resistance formed, 12 pip stop loss above the wick here for price to continue down. Looks good. This looks good. The only thing that's going to make this trade from not working out is probably maybe a smaller time frame closing against you. Otherwise, it looks good. Like price came down, created a low, came up, resistance formed with this candle closing bearish. Next one, high probability to continue down. Very nice. That's a pretty good opportunity, actually. So see right here, pound yen, we have this support over here, and this candle has closed below the support, right? And since this candle starts breaking the low of the previous candle, you don't want it to actually come up in this range, or you don't even want it to break above the high over here and continue moving bearish. That's going to be a pretty good move here for price to continue down. But even though, if this candle doesn't move down, and if it closes back up in the range, I guess that's going to be an opportunity for you to close out your trade, because at that point it would make no sense for it to continue down. So those things you have to identify here while you are in a trade. Hey Raja, for some reason my magic keys doesn't bring stop loss at entry when I use the key. Any tips for me to fix this? Yeah, go to your journal tab and see if there are any errors. Go to your expert tabs if there are any errors. If there are not, go to the website, go to the forums, and then you can contact magic keys. I mean, very, very simple things you can do, right? Magic Keys website, read the forums. What's this? How do you use the other time frames as a confirmation to take a trade? See, now that's a very good question, right? So let's say that we're looking at euro yen right now. If we're looking at euro yen right now and we think, okay, price is moving bullish, but the problem is we're approaching a resistance. So we don't know whether the next candle is going to break above this resistance or not, right? So what we got to do is we got to go to the 4-hour time frame, and we have to see that, okay, there's a wick to be filled over here, but we're also at like a resistance area, so we need some type of a candle to break above, right? So we're going to go to the 1-hour time frame, we're going to go to a 30-minute time frame, we're going to go down to the 15-minute time frame. Perfect. So now we have the 15-minute time frame. So looking at this 15-minute time frame, what we can see is that there was a resistance formed, right? And if we get candles closing bullish, right, then there's a higher probability with volume in the pre-New York session to move price bullish. But at this point right now, since this candle is still open, we want this candle to close to tell us that, hey, like, you know what, candle is moving bullish now, and there might be opportunity for price to move up. And as we look at pound yen in our efforts to continue down, we can see that candle is moving back above the range. Let's take a look at the 5-minute time frame here a little bit. See, now This is where you can use the time frames to maybe identify that, okay, if this is going to be a good trade or not. So if you're in sells over here, we can see the smaller time frames, it's breaking above the high over here. So this increases the probability of price to go in the opposite direction, you know, especially when this candle is about to close in a minute over here. You know, and this is a very, very tricky area right here as well. So at this point, I'd start to get cautious about the sells. See, look at that. That's a very, very difficult area here. Small time frames gave us that confirmation that price should not continue down because it was breaking the high over here in the small time frames. This is how you can use, like, you know, the time frames to kind of like tell you where price is going to go. But if this candle closes, then we'll see what happens. The only thing I'm afraid of is in IC markets is that they don't have a negative balance protection, but I'm not sure if it's important in intraday trades. I'll tell you about negative balance protection in intraday trades. There was a time I took a intraday trade on pound yen. It was on interest rates, and my stop loss didn't get activated, and then my account went in negatives. Yeah, it went in negatives, and then obviously they refunded it because there was an issue at their end, but that does happen. Can you chart Bitcoin maybe? Bitcoin is bullish. We can't chart Bitcoin. There's no trading history on Bitcoin. Alright, let's take a look at this chart from the Gulag here by Mr. Adavuruku. Mr. Adavuruku. Alright, so 15-minute candle is still respecting a high over here. Hasn't really broken the high. We're in the second half of the 15-minute candle now. Okay, so that chart is right over here. Okay, what's going on here? We have GJ, 30-minute. Same idea for sells here. Narrowly missed my pending order. Oh. Still pretty good. You know, still pretty good. I mean, you still have this candle open, but the only problem is just waiting for this candle to close at this point. And for this price to continue moving bearish, you need this candle to close below 146.50. If it doesn't close below 146.50, it's not going to go down. If you were in your trade on GJ, would you put your stop loss above the 30-minute? Because if it flips bullish, would you still be in it? See, if I was in these sells, I would have already closed 50% in a loss. That's what I would have done. Would have closed 50% in a loss, because we're creating a support now in the 5-minute time frame. Now I know 5-minute time frame is a weak confirmation time frame, but still we're creating a support on the 5-minute time frame that increases the chances of a support formed on the 15-minute time frame, which when this candle closes, the 15-minute candle, then we're going to have a support formed on the 15-minute time frame. If a support is formed on the 15-minute time frame, there's a high probability of support formed on a 30-minute time frame. Right? See this? This is what we don't want. We don't want this price to reject. We want it to continue down. But if you look at the time, we got about 7 minutes left for this hour to close. What's the probability it's going to continue down? Just ask yourself, right? What's the probability it's going to continue down? And you're like, yeah, probability is decreasing at this point. Will you trade today or just paper trade for today? I'm gonna paper trade for the whole week. I'm not trading this whole week. I'm gonna start trading from the 11th. Let's draw some decent zones here on gold. Let's draw decent zones here on gold. Let me just remove all these. And let's take a look over here. So in the 30-minute, we have the support forming here. And how big is this range? Okay, so 68 pip range over here. Looking at the 15-minute time frame, we're kind of consolidating here. Yeah, I guess we'll need some sort of a candles closing bullish to say that, okay, price can now continue to move up. But we'll see what happens. What's the concept to form the support to test the high again? The concept is pretty simple. Price came down, created a support, went up, and now you want price to close below 146.50 to continue down to retest the support. That's the trade some traders are looking for at this point. For price to close below 146.50 and then continue down to retest the low. Hey Raja, can we use magic keys on MT4 and MT5 at the same time? No, you can't. If you press a button on magic keys, it's only going to affect the MetaTrader which is open. So I think the best thing to do, since this week is starting, the new year is starting, is really not to force trades. I know a lot of people, they'll try to force trades, because they're excited about trading. They want to enter a trade, they want to be in a trade. Just stay calm. Stay calm. It's a Monday, January, first week of the year. Just gotta stay calm, relaxed. Like ease up into the markets. Ease up into the markets. You're not gonna make thousands of dollars the first week. Just ease up into the markets. Slowly get warmed up. So this whole week is just gonna be me getting warmed up in the markets. Ooh. Hey Raja, happy and successful new year. Was this risky because of a small range? Let's take a look here. See if it's a small range. It was most definitely a risky endeavor. Let's take a look at this chart. Support broken, close below, 15-minute time frame. Next candle went up and then down. Okay. Entry went past the previous low over here for price to continue down towards the support. No, I think it was pretty good. It's pretty good. It still had like a 20 pip range almost. 17 pip range, 20 pip range, pretty good. Also, you had volume coming in from the London session. You had candle came down, created a low, support formed, went up, came down, broke support. It made sense for it to continue down with volume. Just made perfect sense. So we look here on pound yen. As we suspected, that area is a very, very dangerous area. So probably sells didn't work out at that point. So this is something I want people to be cautious about, right? 5-minute candle closed, support formed, boom. Now you wanted this candle to break the low, but it didn't. It is what it is. Let's take a look at this chart over here on GJ. This is a buying opportunity. See now, this is a risky buying opportunity, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we have a resistance right over here, and there's nothing to tell us that we will break this resistance, just like there was nothing to tell us we're going to break the support. I mean, we broke the support, but I guess the small time frame didn't really turn in our favor. So we got a resistance here. So buying over here for price to break resistance, I don't think that's a good idea. A good idea would be to wait for price to kind of like break above 140, 780, 790, and then continue moving bullish. So yeah, you'll have to wait over here for price to kind of like break above. Your JPY is still hanging out over here. Hey, what's this here? Let's see this. Am I drawing my zones correctly? Are you drawing zones correctly, mate? Yes, exactly. That's correct. That's correct. I think one thing you're missing is if price breaks above this area, maybe this is the area you're missing over here. And that's it. Otherwise, looks good. What's this? Hey Raja, your thoughts? It's going to be hard making good money with new regulations March 29th, changing margin on Forex 1 to 30 max, not worth trading with that leverage. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Like a lot of bigger brokerages, like your IC Markets, your Vantage FX, and some other big brokerages, they're slowly moving to offshore offices, and when I say they're slowly moving to offshore offices, which means it's like they're opening offices in offshore locations which are not highly regulated to offer higher leverage, kind of like you have like a lot of crypto brokerages, what they do. The only thing is like crypto brokerages, they're not regulated in major jurisdictions so that they can provide that higher leverage. Oh, what's going on over here? Are we reversing in the last minute? Oh, wow, man. This thing reversed in the last minute. But at the same time, we didn't break the high over here. Wow. Did not expect this at all. This came as a surprise to me, I'll be honest. Did not expect this reversal at all. For the most part, it was just showing, we're not going down, and then boom. Hey Raja, the people on your Zoom chat seem to be new in the gulag. Is Cuckoo from Africa? What is his Instagram, please? I have no idea what you're talking about, man. Oh, Cuckoo!
He's probably reading the chat.
No, we have Cuckoo in the Zoom chat. And guys can see him, you know, and they're like, it's Cuckoo.
Yeah.
And he did Instagram.
You got a pretty good lineup there.
I'm using the Zoom of my company.
Oh, okay.
It's another Zoom account, yeah. That's why.
I'm gonna tell your boss. Take it off your paycheck.
It's like,
it's Albert Lozulu. So I'm just using the account of my company.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm not good at. Come on, man.
Man, they playing with you, man.
Hey Raja, since the price has reversed now, what would you do now? Like, what could be the next move here? The next move, let me consult my chess champion here. What's the next move here for your pawns? I think it's not about the move, it's about seeing what price did, right? Because what I'm looking at here is that even though it came up and in the moment we're like, okay, you know what, it's not going to come down, but at the same time, just from a technical learning perspective, you know, we didn't break the high over here from a technical learning perspective. So technically, you should be in like still like a minor trade over here, because if the stop loss was above the 15-minute candle, didn't really break the high, right? Came down and closed below, and now it's already breaking the low over here, so I think it should continue moving down. But even from a trading perspective, I mean, if you had a buy, if you had a sell, and price didn't break the high over here, and kind of like sometimes, you know, we get scared and we close out the trade, and price did continue down, you know, then that's learning opportunity to say that, hey, like, you know, maybe I should have had a little bit confidence that price didn't break the high and should have stayed in the trade, maybe with like a smaller position here as well. But yeah, that high held very nicely there.
Correct.
What's this? Caught 12 pips, 10% on runners now. Oh, beautiful. In the last second, what's this? In the last second, price came to my entry, and I closed 80%, and after that, in another millisecond, hit my TP 10 minutes. Crazy. Oh, nice. The only reason spread would have kicked you out if your stop loss was just above this wick over here. If you go to the risk management section, what we say is that have stops a couple pips above the candle so that the spread doesn't kick you out. Why not trade this week? Don't get it. I don't know. It's just I don't want to trade this week. I want to ease up into the market slowly. Plus, I'm also waiting for our platform to launch here, and probably going to trade on that. So, just waiting on confirmation from Metacodes. Do you take full position TP after securing loss, or do you take partials TP as you would normally do? I take full position TPs. You know, like once price moves against me, you know, and I'm thinking that okay, candles are closing against me, and I mean it's getting a little risky. I'm gonna close, let's say 60%, or I'm gonna close 70% in a loss, and I'm gonna let the rest run. You know, and if the next one runs for about 10 pips or 12 pips or whatever my target is, I'm just gonna close the whole thing, rather than closing a partial. You know, because we already took partials. All right, let's take a look at this chart over here. Should I draw support at this area or this area? I think you shouldn't draw support on either areas. You should draw support on a 30-minute time frame. So if I look over here, this is the 15-minute time frame, and if I go towards the 30-minute time frame, it's the same area. 1 hour time frame, kind of like the same area. 4 hour time frame, the same area. So that's where it should be. It's like at the same area. So it's like this whole zone you have here. Wow, it's just amazing how the bias was correct. Just this little liquidity grab, it was a little deeper liquidity grab than expected. Your JPY is still struggling over here, deciding on what to do. Let's take a look at USD JPY here. Let's see what USD JPY is saying. USD JPY. Let's take a look here. Oh, USD JPY is moving bullish. We moved bearish through London session. There's nothing to the left so far. Oh wow, there's nothing to the left. All I see is to the left hand side is this area right over here. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, this is the only area we see here to the left hand side. This is back on March 2020. You know, when price went down, came back up again. Okay, so we've basically made a low over here. Now we're trying to come up over here. Let's see here. Yeah, let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame. See, now this is going to be a really good opportunity for price to continue down, because we came down, made a low. This is a support we created on the 1 hour time frame. This is a resistance we created on the 1 hour time frame. So technically this is going to be a really good idea for price to create like a minor resistance and then continue down. Oh wow, your JPY is really moving over here now. We're coming down. Looking at the 4 hour time frame as well, looks like we're going to fill the wick here in the 4 hour time frame at 144.10, 144.100. This is the wick fill right over here. And if we do stay below these supports, there's a very high probability these wicks over here, they might become destinations. And destinations mean that if the volume is coming in and we're closing below the support at 144.50, there's a very high probability we're going to continue down to fill this wick, which is like almost 15 pips away over here. How long has Dominion Markets been in the works? Probably about 6 months. Probably about 6 months. Let's take a look here. USD CAD, downtrend. Price created a low, waiting for resistance to form at minor support. Sell below 1.266. I also think if price continues to move up and creates like a minor resistance, then you can have price moving down at that time. This candle's about to close, the 30-minute candle. Wow. We had like a crazy move over here. Just start of this 1 hour candle went straight down. But this is a very strong support. You know, if you look on the 1 hour time frame, we can see how many times price has actually rejected this support. Right? Price came down here back on the 30th December, came down here on the 30th December again, came down here this morning. Oh yeah, this morning around London session, rejected it. So now we got to see if price is going to kind of like break down here to continue down, or are we going to reject it again? Could you please take a look at my trade to see if it's a valid trade? Okay. Let's take a look over here. Let's take a look over here. Took buys, closed 80% when price came to entry. Okay, that's good, because you took buys as price broke the high over here, and you closed 80% when price came down to entry. Perfect. And then the candle closed with a small body, and I guess, see now, this is something you have to identify here, which we don't know, right? Did you close the trade when it hit your stop loss, or did you close the trade when it broke the low over here? If it broke the low over here and you close the trade, that's a very, very good decision. Let's see here. Let's see how this week is going to shape up. I think we also have NFP this week over here. So far, there's no news at this point. There's no news coming in. We have tomorrow. Tomorrow we have clean day. 6th we have clean day. Nothing really happening here. 7th we have unemployment claims. Oh, now we got NFP. Wow, man, look at this. 69,000 from 245,000. From 250,000 people employed, we're moving down to 69,000. This is crazy. Of all these lockdowns and people aren't employed, man. That's why they're giving out stimulus checks. Money for you, money for you. You know what the crazy part is? The checks are for $600, and Walmart is selling 65-inch TVs for $598. Walmart's like, oh, you got checks? Hey, we got TVs for $600. Come get them. You know, and people line up. All right, let's get TVs. Come on, man.
Yeah, I saw it.
People. First trade of the year, 15 pips. Oh, beautiful. Hey, Raja, got the GJ short. Could confirmations have been identified on lower time frames? Actually, let's take a look at this right now on the 15-minute time frame. I think yes. I think on the 5-minute time frame, there was, with this candle closing down, I think this was your confirmation over here. Now, when I look at it in hindsight, you know, so it was still a pretty good range, like 16, 17 pips. Still pretty good. The only thing that kind of threw me off personally as well was this deeper liquidity grab. But if you look at it closely, look at this. It didn't break the high over here still. You know, it still respected the high, and in the last minute, it came back down. Let's take a look at this over here. Lendarius Forex. Price made a high, created resistance, 15-30-minute time frame, entered on the close of the stops. Right over here. Price was 8 pips in profits, came back to entry, closed 50%. Also trail stops above the 15-minute high. Price ended up going my way. Amazing analysis. Amazing, amazing. Beautiful. Nice, man. That's absolutely beautiful. Trade loss was 5%, came down to 10%. But your runner still went in profits. That's still pretty good. See now, whenever you get scared and you're in a trade and price moves against you and you're getting scared, instead of closing the whole thing, you're closing partials and then you're letting the rest run. Because if the rest continues running, you're increasing your confidence in the trade. You're getting more confident. You're like, oh, okay, hey, like, you know what? Even though I closed partials, it still went in my way. So maybe down the road, when price does the same thing, you might want to end up closing less than what you want to close. You know, because of that increased confidence. And when there's increase in confidence, then obviously, like, you know, you end up making more profits from the trades. And if you look on your JPY over here, we're kind of breaking up over here now in the 30-minute time frame here as well. And looking on the 15-minute time frame, I think this candle is coming down to close in 2 minutes. And if it closes, a really good stop is going to be below this area right over here, which is like 7 pips, 8 pips for price to continue up to this range over here, which is like what, 126,640, 15 pips away. It's a pretty good paper trade here. Let's see if we can play this out. Is this a buy over here? All right. How do you place a stop loss over here? I don't know how to put a stop loss over here. But yeah, so this is going to be a paper trade that we're going to try over here. Let's see here. Year starts TP hit. Could you please tell us more about your business ideas for growth domain? Yeah, basically what we started is we started a small group for market fluidity. It's called Growth Domain. And the reason why we started this was to share business ideas. Because I know, like, you know, like a lot of guys here, you know, we all trade and stuff too. But at the same time, we can't help but have that entrepreneur spirit in us. You know, so that group was started where people can share ideas of physical products that make money, or digital products or services they offer, discuss like stocks, equities, and real estate and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Rakeel, can you go on the 4 hour?
On
Oh no, DJ.
okay.
No, I was just looking at 141, 100. It was testing that high. It did break. It retested back into the range. So I just think we're just making a lower high right now to continue up. If you shrink in a little bit, that's so this would be the high.
You know,
Low.
it's way easier for you to send a chart,
You
right?
think?
Oh, 100%. I believe that. I don't think that.
Alright, let me send it right now.
I did not take this paper trade because GJ did not retrace enough for a good stop loss. Any tips, or did I do the right thing? Let's take a look over here. This is waiting for retracement before breaking the low for a better stop at this point. Okay, yeah, I think you did a better decision, but since this is a 30-minute time frame, I think what you need to do now is to go to the smaller time frames like the 15-minute or the 5-minute and see if there was an opportunity for you to enter a trade. Because since it moved where you wanted it to move, so I guess now the next step is to see that where could you have taken an entry, and then make notes about that and makes like reasons why it moved down. You know, because this situation is going to happen again, and when it happens again, you should be ready enough to say that, oh hey, like, you know what, I saw this happen the first week of this year and it's happened again now. So you know, that will increase your confidence to maybe execute at that point. Any updates on Dominion markets? Yeah, we're still waiting for updates from Metacode, so we'll see what happens here. Do you think once the H4 broke the low of the previous one, it will melt? See, now the 4-hour candle, it was about to break the low over here. It filled the wick, but it rejected here. And now when we look on the smaller time frames, we can see that there's a support over here. Right, so for the 4-hour to continue breaking down, we need this support to break on the smaller time frames, which is being rejected at this point. Yeah. Let's see what's happening with our paper trade over here. So perfect, candle closed bullish. 30-minute candle is also open over here. It's going to close in about 13 minutes. It's also bullish. And I guess if you stay bullish, there's a high probability for price to continue up, you know, towards 126, 620. Let's put a zone over there.
People are looking at gold. You got a range between 1931 and 1935. So I would just sort of watch where you're at with that.
Oh, you're looking at this smaller range over here.
Yeah. So if you go to the hourly time frame, I'm pretty sure that that zone isn't going to be broke again. So I think if we leverage this area here as a zone, you can see now something that we look for regularly is this candle's dipped. This candle's a little bit higher, so you can see the wick now has moved up. So then the next one's going to go. So I think if you're looking for a trade, the safe trade will be above this area over here. But if you do get in, your stop loss now is a little wide. You're down over here somewhere, but you can start to maybe hedge, or I don't want to say hedge in terms of that, but you can sort of estimate that more than likely this area is going to be probably your stop. It may not dip all the way down to here again. It may just dip into this area here. What I'd be waiting for is I'd be waiting still for another 45 minutes, see how this area here plays out, because we are in this little range here, and then look to start taking trades above here. I think we have clean traffic to 1950s. So you'll see on the higher time frames, 1950s is a pretty solid area to continue to go up. The only thing I would caution with the higher time frames is we are entering a zone on the weekly to the upside. So if you go your weekly time frame, you'll see there's a bunch of wicks that we're entering into from where they were previously going down. So this area over here. So we may reject as we start to go up into that area. But like I said, target is probably right around over here. So you're looking to see that this candle here fills this candle right over here. It's actually a pretty clean move. It's just mirroring the previous week, that weekly candle that went to the downside. So this candle here is going downside, this candle is going upside. You have all this clean traffic right here because there's nothing in this area. So we should top out over here. When we do that, we don't know, but watching smaller time frames should give that to you.
Yeah, the only first thing I was looking at was this tiny resistance here. Once we break this, then with volume, gold should be flying like a kite.
Yeah.
All right, so this EUR/JPY paper trade is working out here pretty nice. Let's take a look here. Okay. There's no labeling over here on this chart. Can I show a chart as an example of detail? Yes. Oh, let's take a look at this next one here. Okay, there we go. Higher low waiting for support. Okay, so Mac, you're thinking that if this support is held, we should be continuing to move up because the structure on the 4-hour is making these higher highs and higher lows. You're muted, but your lips are saying right.
You're pretty good at reading lips. You're already used to it. So yeah, we broke out of this big zone right here, right?
Yeah.
So that was a big plus, and we got to 141, 100, and we just making a higher low just to continue up, creating some support around this area, and then retest that previous high created to then continue up to 142.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. How satisfying is it to know that you're this good at trading? You know what? It's not even about that. I think when you really get good at something, you start to get really patient with it as well. You know, like I'm not gonna say I'm good at it, but I know that if I don't trade this week, I'm not missing out on anything because I understand there's gonna be next week and probably gonna get more moves next week. And it's just knowing that okay, I'm gonna have good trades next week. It's just that confidence in knowing that you're gonna be, you know, profitable next week or you're gonna have some good calls next week. And I mean, I think everyone's good at trading. The only thing people aren't good at is discipline. You know, like, I mean, everyone can have the right bias and the right trade, but like the discipline aspect is missing there.
Yeah, we go through the same thing every year. This is like year, what, 6, 7 of trading, and
Yeah.
there's no rush. I mean, people jump in first day. I've enjoyed my time off. It's been great.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I still have my time off now this whole week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not starting till the middle of next week anyways. Let everything blow away. There, you know, we've had flash crashes over the last few years on different pairs this week. So no need to take any risks. Let everything set up. You know, your job once again in the market is to come in second place. We don't have to move the market. We don't have to predict the market. Let the market do its thing and give us the opportunity. It's just, I don't know. Once you understand that philosophy and logic, it's trading's easy. But it takes a lot of errors and I guess, contradictions to what we say for you to actually figure that out. Because, you know, there's thousands of people that turn around and say, why do we do this? And they try and go it on their own. And then they come back to the same conclusion. And then they some novel approach that they figured out on their own when we've told them from day one.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, do this.
Yeah. I've noticed that if I just trade one pair, I'm really profitable. Yeah, that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Good morning and happy new year, fellas.
Hey, welcome, Kervin.
How are you guys?
It's glad to see you in the new year.
Yeah, man.
Walking
Blessing.
in. Yeah.
It'll be another year. Amazing.
This is like high school all over again, right? When
You made it.
everyone comes
Yeah,
comes
I
back after the Christmas break. You know, you come back first day of school.
You know, man.
Everyone's got their new shirt on, new shoes. It's like, yeah, I got this for Christmas.
The new Gucci belt.
The new backpacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Backpacks.
It's amazing.
All right. What's this? Since it has 3 zones that I can draw resistance, which one is best? Can you give me your idea? Which one would you draw and how would you draw it to make it precise? You can't make it precise, but I'm going to tell you what I have. I have this right over here. I'm only looking at this whole zone right here. It's just one complete zone because you can see where price rejected here, right? We rejected here, we're rejecting again here, so probably we'll need some candles to close bearish over here to tell us price is going to go down. But at this point, there's nothing that I recognize which can tell me where price is going to go confidently. Because now we're just in this range over here now.
Feeling left out with all this high school talk. What's up, boys?
Where's your book bag, man?
I gotta get
Where's the Gucci belt? Oh, it's got that
We're here.
on. Nice.
Locked in.
You know, I used to go to high school with a binder only.
How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
Feel like I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah,
Been
we're
a year.
back. Yeah, it's been a year, man. Last time we spoke to you was last year.
Yeah, man. It's been a while.
Poor UK news is continuing to come out. If we break 144.50, we're going down to 139.500. Yeah, see, here's the thing. With all these things happening now, I'm not sure because now slowly when the vaccines are rolling out, and I think when the vaccines roll out, we should continue bullish on majority of the pairs like US dollar, pound, euro, because the rollout of vaccines basically means economies can open up back again, and that creates like optimism for the currencies to go back up. So we'll see. So I think that's a 144.50 is an important level over here. But at the same time, we'll see what happens. I mean, we still got a couple of weeks over here to see how fast they're going to roll them out and how that's going to affect the economy. But I do think 2021 is going to have a lot more volume than 2020 because of all the BS happening now.
Yeah, it's interesting. So there's the discussion is around the Roaring '20s. So back when the Great Depression happened, or there was that crash. The next following years created a whole bunch of prosperity. So that was what a lot of people are talking about. But I mean, I'll be a wait and see kind of person.
There was a pandemic around that time, right?
Well, yeah, it was after some sort of event happened. It was the Roaring '20s, right? So that's what they're saying again is this year and the next year will be like the Roaring '20s if everything goes back on track, that everything will just rebound and it'll be even greater than it was previously. But I mean, I'm a little skeptical on that. But
Yeah, around that time, everything became more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was from the Spanish flu. So after the
Yeah.
Spanish flu, they had the Roaring '20s, and it was very prosperous for the world. But I don't think we'll have the same sort of prosperity. But we'll see what happens. I mean,
They're not so optimistic this year about the economics.
no, I have a feeling that we're going to be in a worse position than we were last year. when things don't make sense to me.
I'll give you a blue Peter badge tomorrow.
Oh. Okay. Trade. Wicked up and got stopped out. Since the candle closed bearish, my bias was right. I started another confident sell, made 0.6% for the day. Oh, beautiful. So you gave the trade a second chance. Amazing. Very nice. What effect do you think all of this talk about digital currencies in the future will have on Forex? If we were to move to digital payments, would currencies cease to exist? You know what? I try not to think about those ideas. Those ideas are very far-fetched in the future. I try to focus on in the now. When I can focus on in the now, I can stop being anxious about what's going to happen in 5 years or 10 years. I mean, we'll see what happens at that point.
Yeah, I think people have to remember that for digital currency to take over the world, we need full internet structure throughout the world. There's still countries, places in the world that don't have access to the internet. So you're going to find that digital currency isn't going to take over in the next 1 to 2 years. It might be in the next 10 years or so. But at that point, we went from trading chickens and goats to gold bars. From gold bars, we went to trading paper currency, and we'll just go to trading digital currency. There's always going to be commerce in trading currency, unless there's only a single currency for the entire world, which, you know, it depends on your conspiracy theorists. There's always going to be a method for exchange or a reason for exchange. So you adapt, right? So if this was back in the 1600s or 1500s, we would be on this Zoom call and the live stream trading goats. Raja would be looking at a goat chart. Papa Smith would have 8 goats over there, and Papa Nardo would have 10 goats over there, and we'd be trying to figure out who's going to be taking all the goats today. It's the same logic. So I think we have to stop thinking hypotheticals, and like Raja said, think in the now.
Some people are looking for buys here on pound yen to continue up in this range. The only reason I don't like these buys is because we had some issues around, 146.50 here before price went down. So I would like them, if I were to take buys, I would have them probably above 148.00 or 147.80 because you have a cleaner range here to the left hand side. Alright, we're gonna mute Mac here. Let's see here. Looks like my EURJPY paper trade is doing good so far. Canada's closed bullish, coming into a clean traffic area for it to continue up. Looks pretty good so far. See, instead of taking buys on GJ, what I'm going to be anticipating, just in my mind, for like practicing purposes, is going to be that if we're breaking above the 30-minute time frame in the first 3 minutes, will this mean price is going to continue back up to this resistance or not? So these are the ideas you constantly keep playing when you're looking at the charts. But for executions, I'm probably going to be looking for above 147.80 because not only you have this wick to fill at that point, but also with volume, you have this clean traffic here to the left-hand side as well. So it's going to be much better. Can you please explain the EJ paper trade? Yeah, so this trade I took when this 15-minute candle was closing bullish, and the idea was that if we can close bullish above this resistance, keeping the stops at this area here, having clean range to the left-hand side, there's a high probability price can continue moving up. So that's something I'm testing to see if it's going to play out here or not, because now we have candle closing bullish. Also looking on the 4-hour time frame, we're coming back up in this range now. So if we're coming back in the range, it should continue up to 126.600. But we'll see what happens. Gold is still ranging at this point. With the stimulus being passed in the US, would it be a huge impact on gold USD? Will it affect the US dollar? I think it's the same thing that's going to happen which happened in March, but with the see, I'm not sure. I'm not sure because you got stimulus at one point, and then you have, then you have the vaccines rolling out on the other point. I have no idea. The only thing I can look at is probably what's going to happen in the moment, what the technicals are saying. But long-term fundamentals around this whole scenario, never seen this before, and it's very uncertain. Ooh, Nadeem Dandol donated £5. Oh, thank you, thank you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. You know what I told people? That it's not a Happy New Year. Let's say it's a optimistic New Year. Because last time in 2020 we said Happy New Year. See what happened. Forest fires, and then we had that lady. She was helping the forest fires with her pictures. Like a lot of things.
Optimistic.
Yeah. Kobe, and Kobe happened, and yeah, a lot of shit happened in 2020. Pretty surprised how Kim Jong has been quiet in the entire 2020. He hasn't even said anything in 2020.
He got the C word.
Yeah, there was this one news where they said that anyone who has a C word will get executed, but I'm not sure if that happened or not. That was their way to control them.
Hey, there was a lot of positive stuff in 2020, man. A lot of people met you through YouTube, man.
Yeah, that's true.
People.
A lot of new people came in. Just make sure you invest in Bitcoin, add a little by little, do not sit on the sidelines. You know what? Bitcoin, it's awesome, like whoever's invested in it from like $6,000 or $10,000, amazing, beautifully making amazing gains. But like if you're buying at around like 25,000, 26,000, if you really want to make money, you want that to go to 50,000 to at least double your money. That's the whole thing. And I don't know nothing about Bitcoin, so I can't even speak on it.
I think also too, we have this FOMO attitude from everybody because people think of trading like buying a lottery ticket. And I think we have to get out of that mindset. If Bitcoin goes to $1 million tomorrow, would it matter? If you have the skill set and you have the knowledge to build accounts, would it really matter what something else is doing? There's penny stocks every day that fly up 200%, 100%. There's opportunities every day to make money. The only reason why you don't know about those opportunities is because you're not in that industry. There's many different industries that generate income every single day that can be comparable to trading. I think we have to leave the idea just because we see Bitcoin on the rise that suddenly now we're going to 100,000, 200,000, and you need to dump your life savings into it. I think if you have a skill set on how to trade, you will be comfortable knowing that Bitcoin does whatever it does, but you're also making money as a trader. And I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen anyone who's predicting all these random numbers of Bitcoin and doing whatever actually have sizable Bitcoin holdings to generate an impact or a dent in their overall financial success. A lot of people that are quoting these random numbers for Bitcoin have maybe $5,000, $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, and they're hoping for a lottery ticket win. That's not how you should be investing. That's not how you should be trading. You should be actively managing your money and not over leveraging or over risking, and definitely not hoping for scenarios to play out just so that you can have a windfall. A lot of people that are saying, I want Bitcoin to go to 100,000, are exactly like Raja said. They're hoping to get in now so that they can get a sizable return, and they're praying that the $1,000 they invest turns into $10,000 or $20,000. And I think we have to get out of that mindset. If you want to generate $100,000 this year, you have to work every single day to generate that $100,000. The work won't be tedious because you're doing something that you enjoy, but as you continue down that road over the next 12 months to get to $100,000, you'll realize you may even surpass your goal. It may come faster, you may make more, you may make less, but you have to understand that building wealth is a work in progress. It's not a lottery ticket. So, people saying Bitcoin to the moon, XRP to the moon, whatever cryptocurrency you think is going to the moon, you're not concerned about that if you have ways to generate money. It's the same reason why people say playing the lottery is a poor man's tax. You don't see rich people playing the lottery. You only see poor people because poor people are living on hope. Rich people live on logic and the fact that you have to put work in to get rewards out. So just keep that in mind. I mean, I'm not saying Bitcoin's not going to go to the moon, but don't bank on it. If it happens, great. You all become multimillionaires, and I was wrong, and it's still a benefit to you if I'm wrong. But don't cry and don't feel that you're missing out on something. Learn a craft, focus, do your thing, and then slowly scale into Bitcoin. And maybe you'll make a few $1,000s, maybe you'll make a few million, who knows, but don't rely on it to be the be all end all. Always make sure that you're well diversified.
Yeah, like people tell me all the time, hey man, you're not in Bitcoin, you don't know anything. I'm like, listen, I know my stuff and that's what I focus on, and that's at the end of the day what makes me money. If someone says that, hey, Bitcoin makes them money, perfect, awesome. So my industry is currencies. I stick with this. Sometimes when I look at Bitcoin, it's just amazing, like to see how it runs. I'm like, oh, nice, man, look at that run. But like, that's about it. Let's take a look at this chart here by Antonio. This is a position. Oh, pound yen. Entry at 140 as price close, book close 50% as price retraced to entry, move stops under BE, position stopped out as price retraced. This was a buy over here, 144.68. Yeah, it's pretty tricky here on pound yen to take buys. Better buys are above 147.80 because you got this clean range over here. This whole area is like a very troubling area, even if you look on the smaller time frames. See this here? We had a little bit of this was a support formed when we thought price was going to go down, but it didn't. And this is where price came up to reject it. So this whole area is very difficult. So just got to put yourself in a good position to win. Above 140, 780, 800, perfect.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Is that David?
That's David. I got David back.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
David.
me.
It's been a while, buddy.
It has been a crazy year. It has been.
What's this? Could you check my buys in the morning? Feel like it was a good trade, but didn't work out. Let's take a look over here. This is coming from the Gulag. All right, so this was GJ, 15-minute time frame. Trend is bearish. Price made a low. Okay, price made a low in a bearish trend. Price moved up. You took a buy for price. I think your first problem was, I'm not sure the problem. The issue was that there was a support formed right over here. Price made a low in a downtrend. So you should have been looking for sells instead of buys. And if you would have waited for sells, you would have got the sells. So I guess instead of saying I got stopped out, maybe try to see that, okay, I got stopped out and why? How and why did the price move where it did? And you need to start look at that. If the price moved down, you had buys, it's time for you to rectify that and see that, okay, how could you have taken sells? What did sells make sense? And that's where your learning is going to start there. Does it provide high quality screenshots and video recording from your experience? Oh, Snagit? Yes. All the breakdowns I post in the group, they're all from Snagit. Those video breakdowns that I post. Oh, looks like my paper trade is in a little bit of a problem over here. It went up in like 6 pip profits, came back down. Can we have buys at 14600 to target 14670 in current scenario? Probably not. Probably having buys above 14780, 14800 would be a better idea to continue bullish. Let's take a look at this chart over here. Oh, this is a GJ 30-minute chart. A lot of text over here. But I see you had a profitable trade. After leaving the leftover 35% run, it again hit around TP and just missed my exit. Okay, yeah, I'm probably going to look at this later on. But it's a very nice trade based on momentum and volume coming down in London session. Do you guys have any books to read? Non-Forex related? Yes. Yeah, this is a financial book I was reading yesterday. Hold on, let me get my coffee. We have about 15 minutes left for the NY Open here. "10x Rule" is really good. 10x Rule book by Grant Cardone is pretty good. It's about, like, if you're running a business, that book basically tells you to just keep amplifying your efforts, like 10 times. Marketing, talking, speaking, whatever you're doing, just 10 times the effort.
And stop acting rich and start living like a real millionaire. That's pretty good.
Oh, that's a book?
Yes. Really, really good. Stop acting rich.
Start living like a real millionaire.
Yeah.
That's a pretty long name.
It's pretty good, man. It tells people to stop buying stupid shit. Yeah.
Do you guys know who Patrick Bet-David is?
Mm-mm.
I feel like Rakeel would like him a lot. He's from Iran. He's a big entrepreneur. He owns Valuetainment. If you've seen him on YouTube. But he has this book out. It's called My Next 5 Moves. It's amazing.
I'll check that out. All right, let's see how big this range is over here. This is like a 9 pip range. That's not that big at all. What's this? Oh, someone was able to send a link here in the gulag. Awesome. Let's take a look over here. Let's mute everybody here. Okay. This is a non-labeled chart. I don't even know what to do with this. Took a buy at 14600, went in profit, but stop loss on break even, expecting it to go to 141. Okay, that's good. I mean, the candles are moving bearish and you're expecting it to go to 141. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Right? I mean, when candles are going down, we can't expect them to magically reverse and go up. Like, you have to wait for a candle to close bullish to give you some sort of that idea. Even like one candle moving bullish, like the 1 hour candle or 30-minute candle, they'll give you an idea. But if you look over here, all candles are bearish. Daily is bearish. 4 hours is basically there. It's still gonna close the 4 hour. Still gotta wait for that. But we really need a rejection from this area to say that we're gonna continue to go back up.
Yeah, just stay above 0.500.
Yeah. You used to trade buy on support and sell resistance. Were you profitable with this strategy, and why do you now focus on breakout trading? It's not about breakout trading. It's about what opportunity do you have at this point. If price is at a support, I'm not going to take a buy because it's at a support. You need some sort of a confirmation, right? You need a bullish candle. Maybe if you can get a candle closing bullish at this point here, 146, 600 or 620, then you can say, okay, there's a possibility price to continue up towards 146, 770 or 650. So support resistance, you're taking trades at all those zones. But at the same time, you're waiting for candles to close in your direction, or you're waiting for candles to close like strong bullish candles or strong bearish candles, and then you're executing. So the concept is still the same. It's just like what opportunity is presented to you at that time. How do you manage the paper trade at this point? Nothing, it's still open. Expecting it to continue to 126,600, but your JPY is moving like USD JPY here today, so it's going to be a longer wait time.
If you're watching gold right now, I'd be very cautious. We're still in that range as we discussed earlier, so this area over here, I don't think we want to trade that. What you may find is in the next hour, this dips a little bit further down, and then we get a candle that looks like something like this afterwards, and then starts to go right back up through there. Similar to what we have over here, we may have over here based on this, right? So if you think about what we're doing, we had this and then a break up. Now we have this over here and potentially a break up. So just keep that in mind. Don't get overly excited that gold's dipping. I think we're in a range, so try and play outside that range. You don't want to get trapped because 5-minute candles can move very heavily. Just manage accordingly. But I'd be looking for buys above this level here. Sells, I'm not too comfortable with sells, so if it does happen, it happens. The reason why I say that once again is because the overall trend is this way. If the overall trend was this way, I'd be looking for sells. So if this does break down, congratulations, you'll make a lot of money if it drops, but I wouldn't have that trade. I wouldn't have done analysis on that trade, so I wouldn't be comfortable taking it. But if you are able to do that analysis and take that trade, it makes sense. Perfect. Myself personally, when I do trade, I usually stick to one bias. If I see the trend is bullish, I will stick to bullish positions. If the bullish positions don't happen, I just watch the bearish positions run, and I see all potential gains that I could have made if I had taken a sell evaporate, and I'm fine with that. You may not be fine with that. You may get frustrated because you're like, well, it didn't go bullish. We could take bearish sells. I don't have a problem with that because I focus on my initial thought my initial idea. And then based on that idea, I am comfortable because I've planned out all the scenarios for that trade. And if it doesn't happen, then there's no trade for that day. I don't switch my bias to then start chasing other opportunities. In my history of trading, that has never been beneficial to me, and it's never been something that's good. Maybe for you it does, but for me it hasn't. So I just stick to one bias. I'll come back the next day with a fresh look again. So,
yeah, I mean, in the perfect case scenario, gold may range a little bit during your session. Later on, we're gonna have a breakup to the upside. Probably we tap 1945s today. But I'm still. Let me see if I can do something here. I'm really aware that this can hold support easily. And this candle may just dip down here, retest this area, and start pushing away from there. But it's I'm not trading though. But it's something to consider.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. We always have that usual push or that fast move right at the USA Open or North American Open. So I'm just gonna watch to see what happens. These are things that, as a new trader, that if you talk these out, maybe out loud to yourself, or write these ideas down before it actually happens, you start to gain confidence. So similar to what I had said with gold, how it's in this range and what I was looking to do. When I first started trading, I would write this idea out and I would see how it played out. So I'd say, okay, I want buys above 1935, 36, and I'd be looking for an entry, on the next hour, things of that nature. And I would come back to that to see how it played out. If I was right, I would then say, okay, perfect. My analysis was on point. If I was wrong, I would then go back and review why I was wrong. What happened at that time frame or that period of time that happened. And then what I would do is I would start to look to see if there's a pattern to that. And then based on that information, I could then adjust my analysis and then compensate for those ideas. Similar to why we started trading on the higher time frames and we went now into the lower time frames. Over the last 6 years, going from higher time frames into lower time frames, because we were able to spot the same opportunities, but there were more opportunities on the smaller time frames. We just had to evaluate them a little bit harder because obviously the smaller time frames are a little bit more choppier than the higher time frames. But you have a little bit more opportunity now with the smaller time frames to then capture a bigger move as the higher time frame correlates with those smaller time frames. And a lot of people ask, I guess in the gulag, they always ask about stop losses. Stop losses have to be set when you're looking to take an entry. I said I want to take a buy above 1935. If I was trading this week, I would look for buys above 1935. I have to look at the structure when price hits that level to see if there's still a valid scenario. So right now, I can't give you a stop loss for a trade that doesn't have any validity yet. So if I'm looking to take a trade above here, I need to see candles in this area. And then based on that, I would say, okay, if candles are holding support here, my stop loss will be below, maybe, if this candle is sitting here like this, it'd be below this candle. Or maybe the candle sitting over here, it'll be below that candle, right? Because I have to see what's going on in my trade idea area before I can start saying, where's my stop loss? Where's my take profit? Where's all that information? I have to wait for price to get here first before I can evaluate that. So my first step, once again, is I want to take a position above this level here. How am I going to do that? I have to wait for price to come above there, and then I have to evaluate the structure in this area here to see if it's still valid. Right? You can't turn around and say, okay, well, I'm going to take a trade over here. And then, as soon as the trade pops up, go, okay, well, my stop loss is going to be down over here. Right? Because it doesn't make sense. You have this huge risk and then you don't know where your reward is. Right? It gets confusing. You have to wait for the market to plan itself out. And then based on that information, you would. So as an example here, we can go down to a previous idea. We would say, okay, over here, right? So we can see that we're consolidating. Okay, I can see now on these candles over here, they formed, right? So all these candles have formed. So now I have an idea of where my stop loss would be if I'm taking a trade above this area here. So my stop loss at that point could be over here. It could be down over here, based on what do I think is going to happen over in this area here. So now based on that idea, I look in this area here once price comes above here, and I can say, okay, maybe my stop loss is going to be over here based on candles now moving further up. And then as candles start to move, I then move my stop loss above 1936 or 1935. You have to be able to do that. And when you set ideas, you are basically saying to yourself, okay, once price comes here, now I start planning for the trade. I don't execute because price comes here. Because what happens if price moves up and then we get a wick that looks like this, right? So now you have an upper wick and you're in this area over here and you're saying, oh, should I take buys, Ted, because you said we're going up? Well, look at the candle direction. Now suddenly we're going right back down again. So your buys are not valid. So you have to be able to say to yourself, what does the structure of the market look like in this area? And is my bias, if I'm looking at buys, is it still valid at this point with these candles? Maybe I have to wait 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, and maybe the fifth one is the candle that I like because it ends up forming some sort of tail, and I can see that support has been formed at 1936, and instead of taking a buy at 1936, I take a buy at 1938 because I needed to wait to see how that structure was there. So there's a lot of thought process that goes into this, and it's a lot of strategy. A lot of times people don't understand that FX is a very strategic way of working. If you've not played chess before, if you've never played a strategy game, if you've never had to figure out what an opponent's doing, FX is going to be very difficult for you because FX is not a formula. This isn't a class where you enter in 2 numbers and then you get an output. Everything is always variable, and you always have to be in the mindset of what is my opponent doing and why are they doing that, and what do I do to combat their ideas, and how can I be profitable off of the fact that they're giving me information. It's data collection, understanding that data, and then basically creating an idea off the data that's been presented to you and doing that over and over again with a higher probability to be successful. A lot of people don't understand that concept of data collection, of data analysis, of understanding what's going on, being able to chart information. If you've ever taken a statistics class in school, this is exactly what you'd be doing in a stats class. You'd be looking at different scenarios, modeling these scenarios and seeing how effective is my model against the current market in this case, or the current scenarios. You have to get used to thinking that way. You have to get your mind out of a linear thinking manner in terms of your education for FX, in terms of your progress for FX, in terms of what you're going to do in FX. FX is not linear. There's no, if I do this, then this will happen. That's not Forex. Forex is, this is the scenario that I'm being presented. How do I leverage this scenario to be profitable? And what do I have to do to leverage this scenario? Does it make sense for me to take an execution? Fine, I take an execution. Am I profitable? Yes or no? Does it make sense for me to stay out of the market because I cannot leverage my strategy against the current conditions? Like, these are all different scenarios you have to go through every single day, and it's the hardest thing to do if you've never done things that have a agile or a strategy based application. If you're a computer programmer where all you do is you program linear equations, or if you've studied math and all you do is just solve equations all day, you're going to be very, very frustrated with FX because there's so many variables that you can't account for, and you'll just have to let them slide. There's going to be instances where things happen and there's no answer to it. It just happened. And you have to be able to let those things go. I think, in 2021, your approach to trading should be very fluid. It should be very agile, and you should be always looking to see, the first question is, what is my opponent doing and why are they doing this? Because basically we're in a battle between people who have money and someone's always trying to take money from you. So if you keep in mind when you come into the charts that someone is always looking to try and take your money, and your money is obviously important to you, you'll find that you'll have a better approach to the markets. Don't look at how much I can make, always look at how much am I able to conserve against the market? How much am I able to risk, or how little am I able to risk and conserve against the market so that I can be profitable? Not how much can I make, it's how much will I not lose. And if you can get into that mentality and be defensive every single time you come into the markets, your offense will be very good because you have a defensive mindset of, hey, I don't want them taking this from me. This is mine. Instead of saying, well, if I do this, I'm going to make this much money. Don't think that way. Think the opposite way and let the money come to you at that point.
Very well said, Ted. Very well said.
Thank you.
Every time. Guy comes in, opens his box over there of his words, and just smashes it with everything.
I had 2 weeks off. 2 weeks off.
Everything was just ready to just come out. I can't just wait.
Yeah, it's a Pandora box.
That's amazing, man. I was actually looking at your JPY, how it played out perfectly as we had visualized here earlier. 30-minute chart, 15-minute chart. Yeah, it was pretty good paper trade here.
GJ is also starting to head up.
Bro, candle is just at this minor resistance. It hasn't started to head up yet. We're looking at the 5-minute Mac.
With GG,
1 minute, 1 minute.
Yeah.
With GG, you gotta be careful because if GG start creating respecting support around 140-600, oh man, you're gonna get a hard time trying to get buys on GG because this 4-hour candle, the current 4-hour candle is basically did a retest to the previous one and easily can dip down toward 140, 300, I would say.
No, I'm looking at the 15 and it just broke the high of the previous one.
Yeah,
so.
but yeah. Just be careful around that 600 level. I still believe that GG can dip down toward the 300s. This 4-hour candle is gonna give you a really hard time. Loss, let's say from 8:30 to 9. So be careful.
Yeah, there could be a lot of range, possibly.
Let's take a look over here. It's just so cool to see that you are able to have huge gains with those lots, but you should just do normal lots. No, I don't think I should do normal lots. I think I should trade the lots I want to trade. I mean,
when what is normal?
yeah, I mean, for me, normal is like 3 lots, 4 lots, 5 lots. That's normal for me. Oh no, there's someone in YouTube saying that I should start trading 1 lots. I mean, why? That's like saying if someone's making 100,000 a year to working, oh, I think you should just demote yourself and make less. It doesn't make any sense, man.
No sense at all, man.
Make no sense at all. I mean, the process is the same. The trading process will always remain the same. The only thing that's going to increase are your lot sizes. That's it.
That's the beauty of trading.
Oh, look at that. We're still coming down over here. 1 candle does not dictate prices reversing.
Yeah, man.
Jeez.
There it goes.
Damn.
I'm telling you, my brother.
That's DJ21.
Yeah.
Now, Mac, you should close 50% at least.
No, I'm not in any trades right now, bro.
See, this is good because if this 15-minute candle closes bearish below this level here, 140, 480, 470, then there's a high probability the New York open volume can continue pushing price down to 140, you know, like 270, 250. Probably later on we can see 140, 100, but we need a close below this area, 140, 480. Can you please check GBP CHF? Can you please read the screen there and see what it says? It says, please don't say look at this or look at that. So can you please read it and send a chart, please? Gold is still ranging here today. I think a really easy trade was Euro JPY here this morning. This is the easiest trade here this morning. It's like ran for about 12, 13 pips. Sometimes if he sells from strong resistance, sometimes it breaks. Yeah, probably that's the point where you don't know how to read market structure. Because if price is at a strong resistance and you think it breaks, probably candles are not closing bearish at that point. You know, maybe there's a lot of volume and candles are closing bullish and you're taking sells at strong resistance. You got to wait for candles to close bearish at a strong resistance. Probably like a 4-hour candle or 1-hour candle, sort of like some sort of a high confirmation candle. You know, it's like when we were kids, right? When we were kids and we wanted to go somewhere, we'd go ask our mom, and the mom would say, no, go ask your dad, because the dad is the higher confirmation. And if the dad said yeah, then you're like, okay, perfect, we're good to go. But if the mom says yes, the mom is a lower confirmation. I mean, it could be different in different households, you know, but you know what I'm trying to say.
That.
Right? Some households, the moms are the higher confirmation time frames there. So you need to wait for that higher confirmation and then execute the trade and say, okay, we're good to go. Like right now, the 15-minute candle broke, but it didn't close below. So very weak confirmation at this time.
Yes.
Yeah, someone said the feminists are going to cancel you. Oh, yeah. This guy. When I have a winning trade, I stop looking at the charts, but then I feel like I should do more. No, see, that's a big problem. I'll tell you why. When I started getting profits, right? When I started getting profits from trading, things were going well. I was literally working 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and that's it. I was making like $600 a day, you know, $700. That's it. But at the same time, I was looking at my family and my friends, right? They were working the whole day, 8 hours, 9 hours, and sometimes I would feel a little guilty that, hey, like, you know what, I'm done, I should do more, I should keep on working. But then I had to really explain to myself that no, this is my job. My job requires me to work 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and then I'm done for the day. That's how my job is. And it took a little time for me to really understand that part or that concept. You know, because you look around, you see people like working the whole day, and you're like, "Oh man, I should do more." But no, that's not the case. Like, you win a trade, your target is met, you call it a day, and that's it. That's your work. Someone asks you how much did you work today, you're like, "Oh yeah, my trade ran for about half an hour. I worked like half an hour." You know.
What should you do if your family doesn't see it as work?
I don't know. Probably you need to have like, I don't know, like, here's the thing, right? I mean, when I first started this, or when I first saw the whole concept about trading, I was like, yeah, right. You know, like, yeah, right. Someone's making, you know, like $200 a day working 20 minutes. It's not possible at all. But then slowly I started to understand that. I mean, okay, it is possible. And I didn't tell my family about it. I mean, your family doesn't need to know what you're doing. That's just how it is. I mean, my family has no clue what I do. They know I trade, I do live streams because it's here on YouTube. Other than that, they have no idea what I'm doing. And quite frankly, they don't have any right to know what I'm doing, because they're not going to help me make money at the end of the day. They're not going to help me at all. I have to make my own money, and I need to do what's right for me. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, like sometimes, like, you know, as we're moving in this new era of technology, you know, like everything that our parents know, that's done. That's already done. Now we're moving into this new domain of trading and e-commerce and drop shipping and all this exciting new stuff. So, I mean, my family has no clue what I do. If they did, they would say, "Oh yeah, it doesn't work," you know, and then it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Did you agree that the reason why people fail on trading because they can't control emotions? Yeah, that's true. All right, we got about 2.5 minutes left for this candle to close. Either this is going to continue dropping in the next 2 minutes, or it's going to close with the wick, and the next one it's going to continue dropping. because we're now moving into its clean areas over here. We have wicks to the left hand side, and these wicks now become destinations. You know, now since this candle is going to close below 144.50, these wicks here till 143.60 becomes the destination for price to reach. This wick right over here as well, 142.80, 14300. These are your destinations where price should continue to go now.
Yeah, that's it is dangerous because I'm not gonna lie. 140.400, where the price is basically right now, can hold that support, you know, for the next 15 minutes to retest this previous one. But at this point, that sell will play out perfectly. I will say if you wanna risk it, you can risk it for the biscuit. Because at this point, the next 15-minute candle can do a retest to 140.500, and then start digging down toward 140.300 with the next 15-minute candle. Because volume is starting to enter to the market right now on New York session. So next, if we don't get the break right now with this 15-minute candle, next one should do a retest to 140.500 and drop.
Give it a week, and when Kervin warms up a little bit, he's gonna stop saying, "Oh, this is risky." He's gonna say, "Oh yeah, come on, TJ, let's go."
Yeah.
just need to warm up a little bit.
Yeah.
If you're watching
A little
gold,
rusty, right?
Yeah.
gold has also created that support we were talking about. So you can see here now we have this little bit of area. So if this continues up, your next candles should move. And now what you can say to yourself is, if I'm going to trade above here, I know that this is a zone here that I have to be aware of. So my next candle here should be above that zone. And if it is, then I can start looking at taking opportunities, and my stop loss will then be above that area here and eventually that area over there. So you can see with the New York market or the USA Open, we're getting that volume to move up. So now you can start watching it.
All right, we got GJ at one end. When we break the low, there's a high probability to continue down. Gold break above 35, 36. Plus, also looking at the time, this is New York Open, and there's supposed to be volume at this time. Oh wow, look at this. G is about to move over here, below 400. Let's take a look over here. This is sells below here. Candles need closing below the strong zone. Yes, that's true. See, what I would anticipate on GJ would be to, since it's reversing pretty good, once it starts breaking the low over here, this low over here, I'm gonna paper trade it again, just like your JPY, and have a stop above this candle wherever it makes a high, and then anticipate it to continue down.
It's gonna be a full margin sell.
Yeah. Just needs to break that low.
Yeah.
Looking on the 4 hour on gold, still bullish. 1 hour also, maybe this previous bearish candle becomes a booby trap candle. We can break 35 and continue moving.
Looks like the market's still the same as last year. Nothing has changed.
There we go.
There you go.
We've broken the low at that point.
Full margin.
Continue on to 300 and 142.80. That could be very, very good targets over here now.
Yes. Yeah, man.
How big
this
is
year
this?
is gonna be an amazing year.
Amazing year. Got around. Yeah, it could get here.
Yeah.
I'm on MetaTrader executing demons. Perfect.
Demons?
Demons. How can we identify if there is a manipulation on market to stay away from taking a trade? You can't. I mean, for me, manipulation is going to be this consolidation area right over here. This is going to be manipulation for me. For me, I would stay away from this area right over here. But looking left-hand side, you know, when we were talking about how these wicks now, they become your destinations. We reached the first one here. The second one is right down over here at 140, you know, like 300 and 280. Could be pretty good, comfortable target there. We're about to break above on gold as well. Just like Ted said.
Yeah. Oh, man. What a beautiful day.
Oh, wow, look at that. 140, 300 is coming up.
There you have it, Raja.
There you go.
You
10.
people. It's too easy. God damn.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Crazy. Beautiful. Well, Gulag, if you guys took this trade, paper trade or real trade, beautiful. We waited. Volume came in and amazing.
Beautiful move. Easy.
See, here's the thing. This was all like bad market structure. Nothing that made sense here. But as soon as we came down over here, it was like, we've seen this before. This pattern has happened before a lot of times, and perfect thing to execute on.
Yeah, and also, as Kerwin said, we rejected the 600 level.
Yeah. Yeah, now this 4 hour is done. So
25.
Beautiful. So
close your trade, enjoy the day, and call it a day.
yeah, and Gulag, if you took this trade, give a like on the stream, you know, because it helps a lot of people to come to the stream and learn the proper way. Also subscribe. And yeah, I guess that's it, right? Yeah.
Share it. Share it.
Cheers.
Do you guys enter manually or place a stop loss? Place a sell stop. I would have entered manually as it was coming down because it broke the low and just continued. So I would have entered manually at that point. But I'm not trading this week. So, you know. But the stop was above this high over here. Yeah, there we go.
And gold is doing exactly what we expected.
Yeah, gold just broke out. So now when you're in this area with gold, as we talked about earlier, we know that we're coming into this area here. You can wait now for potentially the next candle to dip back down over here and then continue back up, as we were saying, because we're breaking out of this original consolidation area, and we are now in this new zone, and now you're just waiting for a support to be formed at that point.
Wow, look at this. Destination reached. Boom, bounce. How long will I hold until what? How long will I hold until execution? 30 minutes and less. I just don't know what. I mean, either you're missing words over there, or that's incomplete sentence. Hey Raja, you were right about your USD. I'm stuck in a 7-pip range for past 4 hours. Yeah, exactly. Because if you look at Euro Yen, you can see how it moved up, right? Because Euro was strong. But then again, if you look at Euro USD, I guess USD is also strong, and that's why it's just ranging. Let's take a look over here. Euro USD. Yeah, look at that range. Just ranging over there. Garbage. See, that's why I choose pairs that are only influenced by one currency. Let's take a look at GBP USD. I kind of want to see how that moved. Oh, that also moved down. Okay. That means pound was weaker. Pound was weaker than what the dollar was. Doesn't really matter, but we got this clean moves.
Yeah, and I mean, for people asking how to take this trade, it was already planned out. All you had to do is set an alert over in this area here, and then say to yourself, okay, where are we going next? And this candle was based on the North American Open, right? So now we know that. You can anticipate that, and you can say, okay, perfect. If this wick now is to the upside, I know that we're going to drive down. I'll place my stop loss above that wick and then let the trade run to here. This is the same thing every time. And what you can do now is you can say to yourself, okay, I'm going to maybe put a stop loss here And now I'm going to move to my 30-minute or higher time frames, and I'm going to see if this trade can extend, because I know the next candle will probably form over here and then continue to drive down, similar to what happened over here. So once I see this new candle forming, I place my stop loss there, and now this candle will continue further down, and I can keep moving my stop loss all the way down at that point. And that's how you would then extend the trade and work off the higher time frames at that point. And gold is going up as expected, but I think you should wait for confirmation to see if you can grab a trade. Well, even now, if you look on 5-minute on gold, because gold does move fast, so you can work the smaller time frames, you'll see that the support is being created as we talked about here. So now what you can do is you can wait for a couple of these candles to form, and if support holds here, your stop loss is below this support level, you can then take the trade and then continue to ride it up. Keep in mind now, if you are trading gold, you have to understand the characteristics of gold. A lot of times with gold, in the last 15 minutes, the last 10 minutes of the hour, there's either a really heavy push up or there's a heavy pullback for the new hour to form. So what you may find is in the next 15-20 minutes we get one more push, maybe to 1938, and then the rest of the time for the next 15-20 minutes after that it ranges, and then the 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern hour starts the continuation of that. So you have a couple of opportunities with gold. Don't be so stressed because it's sitting at 1935 and holding support. Think about now the next play, because we're working on this level over here. We know that there's going to be a few candles at this point on the 5-minute time frame or 15-minute time frame that have to hold support for us to go further up at that point. So if you don't trade gold often, this is a learning opportunity, and this is a time where you would watch how gold reacts at the North American Open and the first hour, and also watch how gold reacts in a single candle, whether it's a single 15-minute candle, a single 30-minute candle, or a single hour candle, mapping out all the different time frames within a time frame so that you understand the characteristics of that movement.
Yeah.
This thing really moved. Grinding over here, GJ. Very nice. This is good, man. We're warming up. Warming up for next week. This week is a warm up. Ooh, Etsy sent me $100. Etsy, yeah. I have a Etsy store running on the side, and that store is generating like $70 to $120 a day.
Nice.
Yeah.
This got side hustles
everywhere, man. I started last month.
What are you selling on Etsy, Raja?
Leather Velcro belts.
Oh, nice.
Leather Velcro belts, because what I found out was that there are normal belts, but then some people's bodies are different, right? And some people's bodies are different. Their belts don't go all the way. Either it's hanging loose or it's too tight. And most people don't really care about the buckles and all the flashy things. They just want to hold up their pants. So if you got a Velcro belt, you can adjust it wherever you want. So
that's a nice commercial.
Yeah, man.
Great idea, man.
So I mean, you can adjust it wherever you want. That's it, bro. And it's mostly for people who have waists over like 42, like moving to like 50 ranges. You know, like.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna see you on TV next 2 years.
I'm telling you, there's a niche. There's a niche for that. You know, because like bigger guys, they can't find good quality belts. And you got a Velcro belt, man. Started this a month ago. I'm already making $100 a day on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Velcro belts.
Did you market it, or does Etsy market for you?
No, I didn't market it. Etsy markets it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I get the belts for like $10. We sell them for $45.
Holy
Good deal.
moly, man.
I love it. I just love it, bro. I love it.
Hey, I had 2 weeks off. What was I supposed to do? Yeah.
But to be honest, I never seen you doing so many stories live. I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, man, Roger is bored as.
Yeah. Really, really bored last 2 weeks.
That was good content though that you released, man. People should take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just about like finding opportunities, and I've been telling people since the last 2 weeks that these new times we're moving into, man, like working from home is becoming a normal now. Working from home is becoming a normal. And when the companies just start to see that, okay, we can get the same productivity from people while they're working from home, let's see if we can outsource this. And once they start outsourcing your jobs and they can find the same productivity, man, people working from home, you're fucked. I mean, your jobs are gonna get jeopardized. So you need to start working towards, like sustain yourself without relying on your jobs, because the way we're moving, it's gonna get, I don't know, man. We're moving in very uncertain times, and I don't want a company to say that, hey, we can probably get this done better, maybe in Philippines or Thailand. So let's move it there, or better yet, India. I call my Bell phone company, and the call picks up in the Philippines. It is what it is, but like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen slowly. Yeah, so I think a pretty good move was this GG sell this morning. Gold is still closing above 1935. Should still continue moving bullish, as Ted said. UJ, you just continuing up over here. Please, someone tell me NY open time. All right, let's go to Google. Instead of wasting your time and just waiting for someone to reply, why don't just people go to Google? When does New York session open? There we go. Google's going to fill it for us. Oh, what's this? 8 a.m. Eastern. Okay, 8 a.m. Eastern. Oh, but let's say I live in Cambodia. Oh, hey Raja, what's 8 a.m. in Cambodia? Okay, 8 a.m. in Cambodia time frame. It's 8 p.m. See that? We just gotta make sure we use Google, and there we go. Gold is moving up over here. This 5-minute was a confirmation there. Oh, almost 20 pips in this 5-minute candle. Damn. Would you enter in a position like this? Wick came down past where you wanted to enter, but it came back up to close near your entry, meaning it gave a second chance? Yes.
Yeah, so if you're looking at gold, now all you gotta do is jump to the 15-minute time frame, and you'll see that the 15-minute time frame basically had a pullback, right? So this is something that we see normally. We had a pullback here. We can see right over here. So what you would say is your first trade would be basically to trade this idea here and place a pending order right here, and your stop would be maybe over here. Not even, because you know that we're going to have a continuation, and you basically pick up, I guess, 3 pips for 1 pip risk at that point. Well, I guess 10 pips, 30 pips. There you go.
What's your next target on gold right now?
Gold, I think 1950.
Yeah, that's what I have too, 1950.
Because we're filling up the weekly time frame, the weekly candle.
Yeah, right past 1938, that was a strong area.
Yes.
And the next line that I have drawn, it's 1950. And then 1958.
Yep.
Wow, this was really good because like if people go back and watch where Ted was explaining gold, he was talking about how you're gonna have candles closing, 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 but then you're gonna have one which will break out. This one right over here.
Yep. But if you were smart and you worked on the New York or the USA Open, you would have seen where support was created on the hourly, and you would have taken advantage of that. That support area right over here. So what you could have done is you could have really taken advantage of that and said to yourself, okay, I'm going to place a stop below this area here, and then take an entry above here, and it takes off, and then now stop loss can move to here, and then you're off to the races. So that would have been another opportunity too, based on the session timing at that point, knowing gold's going to drive in the New York session. So, but this was all explained earlier. So if you have any questions, you can watch the replay because we broke this all down for you.
Yeah,
it was textbook, just like GJ. Everything was textbook this morning. Why didn't I take any trades?
How much was this over here? Oh, 36 pips.
Yeah, it's moving.
Hi, good people of the stream. Can you please explain why GJ rejected a 140-300? Thanks, more power from Philippines. 140-300 because we rejected it before. If you look to the left-hand side, so we see it got rejected before. So if price came down, it made sense. Well, then the probability of it rejecting again became higher at that point. So that's why we rejected it again. So it's good. I think the first day went really well today. Really well today. A little bit of a speed bumps on GJ when people were saying it's going to go up or go down or go up or go down. But then we got some good confirmations it's going to continue down. Your JPY continued up. Gold continued up over here. 34 pips, 36 pips.
And to be honest, I was expecting lower volume than that. It's not so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Not so bad at all. I mean, on the high time frames, it's less volume because it's expected, but I guess on the small time frames, it's almost the same volume here. I mean, you're getting 40 pip moves on gold, 25 pips move on GJ.
Pretty decent.
And gold's gonna continue moving Gucci though. 1945s.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get to 1950 today, Ted, but yeah.
Also keep in mind too, with gold, the characteristics of gold, when we have these big giant moves like this, like to be honest, if I was trading this pair, I would have probably moved my stop into this area over here and taken the majority of this move out, and that would have been my trade. Because anytime we get a big push up, as an example, like over here, you can see we have a big push up with these two candles, then we get some weird rejection candle that drives all the way back down again. So I tend to watch myself with gold, and I'm always securing profits with gold.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing is that these 4-hour candles still have
yeah, it has a lot of
24
time.
minutes, so we may continue pushing, you know.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, if you can get anywhere between 20 to 30 pips with a gold trade, that's usually a very, very well done gold trade. If you catch more than that, that's great too. But on average, I catch anywhere between 5 to 30 pips with gold, and I'm comfortable with that. You know, if the trade runs, like if I was trading here, I would have probably caught, you know, maybe 60 pips, 70 pips. And then, you know, I would have just moved my stop loss probably, like, because obviously I would have entered over in this area here. So I would have moved my stop to here, and, you know, I would have taken this as profit at that point. And then the rest of this is just a freebie. So if this keeps running up, if this candle over here runs up more, I would move my stop over here afterwards when I see the next candles forming. So this is really the freebie candle at this point. Like if it drives up, great, you get more, you get a bonus. But if not, it's no big deal either.
Yeah, I see.
You got to be a believer to get in on this.
Yeah. easy entry.
Oh.
Easy entry, like that says, somewhere around here. That would be a nice entry.
Tomer Halberto. Tomer Halberto from the Gulag. Let's take a look at this chart over here. Let's take a look at this chart. Price closed below. I didn't trade lower than 30-minute time frame for the next few months at least, trying to see where I could have gotten a better entry. Price closed over here. Yeah, I guess in this scenario, you had to look at the smaller time frames. You know, I mean, if you look on a 30-minute time frame, we see just one candle coming down. But obviously, like, you know, if you're only focused on a 30-minute time frame and you've missed this trade, like let's say we've missed this trade. Let's say someone who were looking at 30-minute time frame, you missed this trade. Now you want to identify that, okay, how could you have executed on this trade? So you're like, oh, okay, let's take a look at the smaller time frame. Look at the small time frame. You're like, okay, well, maybe in this scenario, 15-minute time frame would have made sense when it broke the low over here to continue down. And then you make a note. You're like, okay, New York Open, high volume. Then maybe look at the 15-minute because there's high volume. You make a note of that, and then you come to the next day. And the next time when the same situation happens, then you're going to be much more prepared to see what's going to happen. And once you're going to be mentally prepared that what's going to happen, maybe the next time it happens again, then you're going to be more prepared to maybe execute on that trade. Because you saw it happen once, the second time you learned from it, the third time you anticipated it, and the fourth time, now you can execute on it. Now, the time difference in these four scenarios, it may be, let's say, a month, you know. Maybe it takes you a month to get that sort of like confidence to execute on this pattern. But that's where your time is spent, you know, that's where your time is spent on trading. You see some things happen, you try to like make yourself understand why it's happening, and then you go from there. When I see price move all the time and when I miss trades all the time, I just talk to myself. I just say, okay, Raja, where could you have entered? So I'm looking at this gold. When this candle wasn't forming, I was like, okay, you know what? If this can close bullish, we can possibly continue to move up because, you know, there's momentum right now in the market. There's a lot of volume. And it did. Am I going to trade gold? Probably not, because I don't trade gold as much, you know. But if the next time it happens, will I know what's going to happen? Absolutely, because I've seen it happen a lot of times. So this gold was explained in the stream. You can watch. Pound yen was explained. You can watch. We also explained why buys above 140.800 would be much better rather than in this range. Year JPY buys were also explained in the stream. So yeah, we had some pretty good anticipated moves here today. How can you explain the bullish move on gold even if the vaccine is here? Huh? Tell me. How? You're talking about vaccines, gold's moving up? Liar. You're a liar.
The governments continue printing dollars, and you will see gold where it's going.
Yeah, it's mostly about it's mostly this. I mean, how technically, it's mostly on a technical level. You know, like when we talk about like vaccines and elections and all that, all those things, they affect price on the higher time frames. 4-hour, daily, weekly. The smaller time frames, if you see price moving up, you don't think about vaccines. You think about price moving up. You know, that's how it works over here. When you're day trading, when you're trying to like catch these, you know, like 15-minute moves, 20-minute moves, you don't care about the vaccine. You care about what's happening right now.
Yeah, you just basically trade what you see, not what you think. I mean, there's this misconception in the world of the internet, as I call it, because it's not the real world, that you have to think like some institution, or that we're all sitting around in like these big, like we're all institutions here, and you know, our $100 accounts or whatever they are we should be trading them like a hedge fund manager down on Wall Street or Bay Street or wherever street you see in finance. That's not the case. We have to get out of, and this is the biggest, I think, problem or challenge that people have, is you have to get out of that mindset that, well, this is what the banks do, so I have to do what the banks do, or this is what they're doing, so I'm going to do that too. You don't do what they're doing. You figure out what they're doing, and then what you say to yourself is, how can I take advantage knowing what they're doing? Say, for example, you're playing a card game and you're playing poker, and you turn around and you say to yourself, okay, This guy's playing his 2 cards face up, and he shows you he's got 2 kings. You don't have to try and bet more than him when he has the 2 kings showing. You just have to wait for your cards to come and then bet, because you know your cards, and you know his cards, but he doesn't know your cards. So if you have an ace in your hand and he's got 2 kings, he's going to keep betting until an ace comes, and you don't have to place any bets. You don't have to do anything. You just have to sit back and wait for your ace. So every single time you get 2 cards and he gets 2 kings, every time there's no ace on the board, he bets, you fold. He bets, you fold. And every time an ace hits, he bets, you bet more, he folds. Right? So you'll eventually get to the point where you're going to win more, because he's going to be betting a lot of times where he's going to lose, and you're not going to be betting any times that you're losing because you can see his cards. It's the same thing when you watch price move. If you see prices going up, you're not going to bet against it. You're going to wait for an entry to continue for it to go up, and then exit at a certain point. I think we overcomplicate things, and we all try and do these magical things. We're all in boxer shorts and t-shirts and sweatpants in the morning. I mean, we're not billion-dollar hedge fund managers. Like, it's such a weird idea to think that, you know, you have to complicate this scenario. Like, I don't know. I can't think that hard. It's too much for me.
Yeah, I try not to overthink a lot of stuff. Technically, I mean, when you start overthinking, you remove all the rational ideas, because if you think something's gonna, let's say, move up, you know, and if you start thinking about, oh, but there's a zone over there, oh, but this is like this, oh, but that is like that, and then you start overthinking about scenarios why it should not work out, you know, and if you don't execute on it, and if it works out, you're not going to know why it worked out, or if it doesn't work out and you don't execute on it, then you're not going to know why it didn't work out. You know, because I mean, that's the thing. Like, even if you see something that you're remotely confident about, just execute on it. Just execute, just whatever it is, like trade, executing on a business idea, or like making that next call. You just got to do it, because if it doesn't work out, that's the most important time, because that's a learning lesson at that time. You know, but if it works out, then you can say, okay, let's see how we can replicate that. And with this, we're going to move into a chart over here by Samuel Derek Cunningham. Can you check these possibilities? All right, possibilities. Would these be the 3 possible entries on GJ from this morning? One right over here. I don't think right over here. Maybe right over here on the smaller time frames we had an idea. And then I think the second one was right over here on the 15-minute time frame, because this was a support you had on the yellow line, and we needed this area for price to break down to continue down, because we had rejections here and we weren't sure if price was going to reject here again or not. I think what matters right now at this is the moment itself. That is true.
I can see why, like, a lot of people get anxiety and stress, because I can see the kinds of things that they think about, and man, it would send me into a tailspin too. What if the FX market leaves? What if this happens? It's like, man, I'm just worried if it snows today, I got to shovel my driveway. Like, this is like, wow.
Yeah, and it snowed a lot yesterday.
Well, a lot of people that they stress over small things, you know, they think too much.
Oh yeah.
They want to be way ahead of the curve. Like a guy messaged me yesterday, I think it was yesterday. He asked me, man, what if, you know, all the cryptocurrencies start gaining some strength and the currencies disappear? I said, wow, we're going to go back to trade cows, pigs, and chickens.
That's right.
Yeah, I got the same
way.
question. Yeah. Crazy people are they get worried for. I mean, if it's the case, man, we got bigger problem than that.
Yeah.
I always wondered what the rationale behind these like doomsday scenario thinking is. Like it's mind-boggling to me, because when I was in my 20s, I was more concerned about chasing tail and getting a job. I wasn't worried about if the economy is going to crash, or if there's going to be like World War III. Like it didn't cross my mind. Like I was focused on my bubble. I guess now with the age of the internet and globalization, everyone's worried about everything. But I mean, I was just more concerned about catching the bus and getting to work on time.
So true, man.
Yeah, like even in university, I wasn't even worried about getting a job. I was worried about just finishing university. Like I was doing one task at a time, and then I was like, well, once I get a degree, I have to just apply to 10,000 jobs, and then hopefully someone takes me in, and then I just work. Like it wasn't like, oh, I need to go work here, I need to do this. It was just like, well, that's what I'm going to do. I guess that's what I do.
Times have changed, Ted.
Yeah, I know.
When you were chasing tail like me, we would go to the clubs.
Yeah.
Now people chase tail online on their apps.
Swiping right or left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess that's the where I guess we feel sorry for the younger people. I guess it's harder to be younger now, but I guess every generation has its struggles, but I don't know. I was never this worried about hypotheticals. Like I didn't think that deeply about life. I guess maybe times have changed, that people are very reflective and very philosophical about like, oh well, what if this happens? It's like, I don't know. I never thought of that. I guess I was simple.
Simpler times.
Yeah.
They have too much time to think.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just like I didn't do any of that. Like I guess I'm very primitive and I'm like a caveman.
No, you're normal. Just like my generation is normal.
I mean, like Raj and I, we all go out for dinner. We don't even talk about anything. We're just like, hey, what can we order? Let's order this. Order more.
The guy comes around, oh, you want some appetizer? We're like, yeah, let's skip the main and just bring all the appetizers.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see how it goes.
That's the same thing that happens every time I join Tin Man.
Yeah.
For breakfast, the guy asks, okay, what are you gonna for the start? And he said, bring me one plate of everything. For breakfast? I mean, Tin Man is crazy, man. But we had a good time.
So there was someone, they were talking about how they're long on your GBP at 89680, and this is where they're long at around 69. Whoa. Hold on. Oh, 89680. Somewhere down over here, and you're anticipating if price is going to come up towards 9650, right up over here. So I think you should be cautious about this resistance right over here, and also when we're moving into this area over here, because you can see how the 4-hour candles, they kind of like had some sort of issues here to the left hand side. So there might be, on the 1 hour or small time frame, we may kind of like come down for the new 4-hour candle, which is going to start now soon. So you would really want price to break above this area right here, 9400, for price to continue on towards your target. So yeah, the 4-hour candle starting on soon, and probably in about 10 minutes we're going to call it a day.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out, guys. Be safe, everyone.
Mark,
See you guys tomorrow.
nice to see you again, my brother.
See you tonight.
Yes,
Oh, tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Good night. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm a little excited to stream again.
Nice. We like seeing you happy.
I'm bored out of my mind.
Will you continue this week's streams, or are you back on the 11th? No, I'm going to continue. We're going to continue on. It's like normal program as last year now. We're back to scheduled programming. This is where pound yen is making a low over here now. This is a low being created. And if we start breaking below this low, you know we're going to come down to fill this wick, and then we're going to come down towards 140, 100. But we just need to break these low for that to happen.
Say less.
Yeah. If not, we may come up to create like a minor resistance and then continue down, because now the trend is bearish. Do you think closing half on loss on this trade is necessary? Let's take a look here. I think whenever you have an opportunity to lose less than what you plan to lose, it's pretty good. Oh. Entered buy when price went back and retested the broken resistance and break of the previous candle. Oh yeah, beautiful. Closed half the moment this 30-minute candle closed red. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I guess you could have added the close position. Let me just zoom in here a little bit here. You could have added another position right here when the 30-minute started breaking the high for price to continue moving back up. So maybe work on that, like how to add the positions you close out. I'm about to delete my demo account. I just made all my money on the demo thinking it was my real. Sheesh. Yeah. Yeah, that happens. You're like, oh yeah, let's go. Oh yeah, yeah. You're hyping yourself. You're like, oh no, wait, it's demo. Great, missed the stream. Oh no, you can watch the recap. It's like we never left. Man, we had amazing calls here. Gold buys, euro pound buys. No, euro yen buys. Where's euro yen right now? Okay, still at that resistance. Yeah, this is great buys over here. Pound yen sells. I know you're not trading Euro New Zealand, but this is my weak outlook for this pair. Appreciate your feedback. By Amir Sadek. Let's take a look over here. Let's take a look at this here. This is, oh, it's got my attention over here. What's going on over here? Resistance double top, support double bottom, question mark, question mark. Looking for high time frame resistance formation between this for price to come up, come down. Yeah, I think what you can really look at as well is that if we start breaking this low over here, how can you position yourself to ride price coming down to your TP2? You know, that's something you need to look at that point. But looks like there's a lot of consolidation over here in this point over here as it came down. Because look at all those wicks printing side by side. Pretty zoomed out chart, so. Weekly outlook looks good. You're trying to look for buys above this area here to continue up. So you're consolidating over here. Makes sense. Why weren't you trading a small account like you did in November? Why aren't you trading a small account? Because I want to trade from the 11th January, something like that. So that's why I'm not trading this week. This is like a warm-up week, guys. I mean, it's not like when the market opens, you just need to start smashing out trades. It's like a warm-up week. So the first day of this year, I warmed up to 2 profitable trades in my head. You know, that's very important. Now my confidence is increasing for next week. Do you ever have a problem with TradingView filling your orders before it hits the price? I don't trade on TradingView. Hi, is it okay to ask a general question? You just asked a general question. So maybe maybe you could have followed that with the proper question. But if we don't help you, probably the gulag is going to help you with the answer. Gulag seems to have all the answers to everything. How will you know if the wick is going to fill or not? That's a very important question. So basically, when we talk about wicks are going to get filled or not, you're basically looking for volume in the market, because when there's volume, the wicks are always going to get filled, right? And since we were moving over here on pound yen, this was a 15-minute time frame here. If you look at the time, this was New York Open. So New York Open, there's a lot of volume in the market. So when we're breaking below the support, closing below the support, so look at this, right? This candle becomes a gladiator candle, because in the old Roman times, the gladiators were the gladiators who just keep on fighting and move forward. So this is the candle. It closed below all these candles which couldn't close below. So now when you look to the left hand side, you have this wick over here. You're like, okay, there's volume in the market and candles are closing below support. So what's the probability that the candles are going to come down to fill this wick and then eventually come down to fill this wick? So you're like, well, based on these confirmations, there's a high probability, and then that's how the wicks get filled. Looks like euro yen is continuing to move up over here. Wow, look at that, man. This thing is continuing up. We had a trade down over here around 126,500. Took a little while. I waited for volume and then moved up. Hi. Share market, what do you mean? Oh. Which platform is this that allowed to execute 2 TPs in one position? I don't know how to answer that, but you need to close partial positions to have 2 TPs. We're continuing up on GJ. If you don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just watch. Dun, 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 dun. You guys heard the song before? Gold on my ring, gold on my chain. G just gonna go up. If you don't believe me, just watch. That's what someone said in the Gulag. I mean, yeah, because I think a really good buying opportunity on GJ is going to be about 147.80. Any analysis on Bitcoin chart? Bullish. Let's see here. Any other questions? What's your GJ outlook for today? It's already ended. My outlook started at 6 in the morning, and it ended. But I do think if we start rejecting 144.50, if we start creating resistances here, and if we break below 14300, we're coming down to 14100. That's what my outlook is for NYC open or probably London close. RSI divergence is good to trade. I haven't traded it, so I don't know. I think looking at price action is much better to trade than to rely on indicators. Hi Roja, can you rap Eminem Rap God? Probably not. 2 trade win but lost because of internet. Oh, maybe you need better internet. Oh yeah, someone asked me about a book other than trading. This is a really good book. This book is called Straight to Hell. Straight to Hell. The true tales of defiance, debauchery, and billion-dollar deals. Really amazing book. This is a story about a guy who gets sent to Hong Kong to work with like a large exchange for like stocks and stuff. And it's about that guy over there, what they do over there, and how to go for dinners. Man, it's wild. Like the stories in this book, completely wild stories. Too many people are smart enough to be angry, but not smart enough to be successful. This is one of the quotes from the book. It's actually true. Which spreads are better, Oanda or FXCM? Whichever you think are better. I mean, look at both spreads, and which you think are better are going to be better. What kind of a
Oh my
question is
God.
that? It's like you look at two water bottles right here.
Yeah.
One is half empty, one is full. Which one is better? The full one.
Wow.
Just some of these questions, like, I mean, do you need validation? Like, should I turn the door handle to walk outside, or should I not? Like, sometimes you just have to just do it. Like, just go. Like, I don't know. I think people give us too much credit. There's people that hate our guts entirely, and I think there's people that if we told them to chew on glass, they would chew on glass.
Yeah.
It's crazy that the spectrum that we have here. We have people that absolutely can't stand us, and then we have people that would not put on pants today if we told them not to, with no rationale. They wouldn't do it. And it's like, can we have a happy medium where sometimes like the obvious answer is the correct one? Like, if you want to do a comparison, just log in. Like, people will ask me, how are the spreads on different brokerages? Just log in and look. Like, I that's how I find out the information. I just would log in and look. So,
No, but you should know that, right?
yeah, just sort of ask yourself before you ask a question, is the answer something that I can do on my own first? Or do I need assistance with this? So, you know, when it comes to using MetaTrader, you could probably look up a lot of information on MetaTrader, and that will help you learn even more about what you're doing. And it's the same thing with brokerages, right? You're looking for brokerages, log into the brokerage. You can sign up to a broker, and there's no obligation for you to trade there. You can go in there, look at their back office, look at everything, open the charts up, open up an account, open up a live account, and you can just review the spreads and you can look at them. You don't even have to ask anybody. You can do that, and then afterwards you can just close the account. So a lot of times, just before you ask a question, ask yourself, is this available on Google? And chances are it is.
Everything's on Google, Ted.
Yeah. Google
When we-
knows everything.
When we were growing up, it was encyclopedias.
Yeah, seriously.
Britannia Encyclopedia. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard.
Britannia. I had like, it came in like 8 CDs. Had to install each and one of them.
Oh, you had CDs. I had books.
Oh, way back.
Yeah, way back.
Britannia. What a memory.
Yeah.
Which broker would you recommend me? I'm wondering about Vantage, FX, or IC Markets. To be honest, if you have choice of the two, I would go with IC Markets. Yeah, I mean, if you can open an account there, awesome. I mean, we used to use IC Markets for a very long time in the beginning. Pretty good.
Yeah, IC Markets was a good brokerage. No issues. It's funny now, like you were saying earlier, Raja, all the larger brokers are now opening offshore brokerages. They're all like, IC Markets has an offshore broker now. Pepperstone has offshore broker. They're all opening offshore brokers to keep the leverage at, you know, high for clients. So it's interesting to see. Now, now we're all competing in the same territory.
It's because the U.S. is going crazy, Ted.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're looking at gold again, you'll see what we were talking about earlier. If you look on the 15-minute time frame, you could see that there's a support being formed, which is right over here. So stop loss can be here. You can look to take trades above here and then head up based on the new hour candle forming. So you might find that this new hour candle pushes up and it continues on its way, so it's something to look at. But if you were already in the trade, you can see now, if you had taken a trade from over here and you know you were saying to yourself, okay, where do I place my stop? My stop would be placed here at this point, and I would then let this bounce around and go up. This activity here is probably not going to do it. You're not going to get anything done until 9:30, which is NYSE open. So you're going to see this is going to range a bit until that point. So you're looking for the New York Stock Exchange open where you get another volume push, and this will probably drive gold further up at that point.
So just to kind of confirm what you just said, Ted, the S&P futures the trend is down, so the gold is going up. That's another way kind of see that.
Yeah, the only problem that I can see with gold is that with the New York Stock Exchange open, we may have a replacement to pull, to get some order from the downside and drive all that liquidity, drive it somewhere 1945, 1950s, probably at this point. I'm just aware that the structure right now is basically telling me that we may have a deep retest toward 1937, 19 whatever that, where Ted says that you should put the stop loss. It's
Yep.
really, for gold, it's really easy to dig down to
Correct.
toward that area.
Yep, you could get a pullback. So if you're looking for trading this, if you wait till 9:30 and then watch the pullback, after the pullback at 9:30, you could easily grab another entry to drive further up. So this might pop back over to here and then continue to drive.
Yeah, exactly that. Basically, I know that gold is very rare that gold is gonna start just pushing and pushing. It's gonna give you that heavy pullback.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, just be aware of this level, and you may have a down toward this area right here.
Yeah, and you could see too this would have been basically your trade, right? Like we don't worry about this information here. Like you can cut this stuff out here, cut this out here. This would have been your trade, right? Because we're always looking, and this is something that you can write down now for people that are new to the stream or anyone. These kind of candles are the candles that we're looking for. Like big body candles. You can't trade these kind of candles here, right? This doesn't make any sense. You're looking for these, this here, even something like this where you have a clean break up or a clean break down. You don't want to get trapped in this stuff over here now. Like this is not fun. You want to wait for these clean moves here. And now you say to yourself is, okay, well, how could I have caught these clean moves? And where do those clean moves end up happening? And why do they end up happening? And it's basically we had the North American market open, and that provided us the volume at 8 a.m. So that 8 a.m. candle really had a good push. So it's something that you need to now review, and you can do that on the charts. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You can now go back for the next 3 days and spend time just working in this section of the charts. The 1 hour before and the 1 hour after the USA currency open. Right, so at 8 a.m. Eastern, you can now look an hour before, an hour behind, or an hour ahead, so 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., and go back like the last year in the charts and see what's happened and mark down things and start seeing the patterns. Oh, this is what happens at 7:45. This is what happens at 8:15. This is what happens at 8 a.m. And start marking that stuff down until you start to see a reoccurring theme. And based on that, now you can project going forward next week, the week after that. Okay, I see that this has happened previously. Why did this happen? Okay, we're heading to that same idea again, and now I can anticipate what could possibly happen again.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Take care.
Take care. Yeah, I kind of want to know how this next 15-minute candle is going to move, because I want to catch that move up on the stream if it does move up. And then I'm going to call it a day.
That'd be a tight move because I think 1946 is a good target.
Yeah.
Because if you look on the higher time frames, 1946 is a zone that we enter into on the daily. Hey, Raja, be humble, bro. Don't be rude.
Why?
Because that's what the gulag said. Answer humbly.
Man, like if you're getting emotional about what I'm saying over here and you don't get emotional at what the market does to you, you need to get your priorities straight because man, the market is way, way ruthless than our answers. We come here the next day, the market doesn't even say sorry to you.
Yeah, I can't believe how people would get offended by what we would say to them. I mean, at least we're giving you the honest truth. I think you have to take things into context. It's like, would you like us to like be fake and be like, oh, don't worry about it. Hey, everything's gonna be okay. Or would you like the honest truth? I would rather have someone telling me that, hey, like this is crap. Like, get back to it and save your money rather than, oh, don't worry about it. But sign up for my course or go trade for a bit and lose all your money. Like, it's all right. Don't worry. Everyone's a great trader. You guys go out and trade the markets. You'll be all successful, and don't worry about your money, right? That's like, wow.
Hey, that music is really relaxing.
Oh, you can hear it?
I can hear it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, from the YouTube library, we can't play any other music because YouTube says you can't steal music.
Ah.
If I don't see my favorite setup in the market and the market is moving very fine, should I still enter that way? Like trade what I see other than waiting for my pattern? Yeah, you can do that. Or what you can do is at the same time is you can kind of see that, okay, let's take like a small risk trade to see if this different idea works or not. You know, if that works, then you can add that idea to your original pattern that you're normally looking for. So there you go, 15-minute candle has closed bullish. Now I think for gold to continue moving, we need to break above this high over here, and then gold is off to the races. 1946 should be a good target. Technical Prosperity app was this. They had a 5 pip gain for a 100 pip stop loss. Oh, beautiful. All right, perfect. All right, everybody, I'm going to head off over here. We're going to see you guys tomorrow. Hope everyone had fun. Stayed safe. No over trading.
It's good to be back with you guys. Have a great day and good year to come.
Yes, sir.
Take care, David.
All right, take care, guys. We'll see you later.
Okay,
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gulag. Thank you, Zoom. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Raja.
Yes, sir, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios.